History rarely gives nations a second chance. When it does, that moment is usually fragile, brief, and dangerous. For Poland, that moment came in 1918, after 123 years of disappearance from the map of Europe. And standing at the center of that moment was a man who did not fit comfortably into any single category. Józef Piłsudski was not born a president. He was not raised to be a general. He did not inherit power. He began as a political prisoner, a socialist conspirator, and an enemy of empires. This is not a simple story of a hero without flaws. It is the story of a man shaped by loss, exile, defiance, and obsession. Obsession with one idea above all others. Poland must exist again. Understanding Piłsudski means understanding why independence was never guaranteed, why freedom demanded sacrifice, and why modern Poland was forged under impossible pressure. Józef Piłsudski was born in 1867 in a land that officially did not exist. Poland had been erased through the partitions carried out by Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Borders were gone, institutions destroyed, and Polish identity actively suppressed. Speaking Polish, teaching Polish history, even remembering Polish heroes could be treated as acts of rebellion. Piłsudski grew up in a household where memory itself was resistance. Stories of the failed uprisings of the 19th century were not distant history. They were personal wounds. His family had lost land and status because of earlier struggles against Russian rule. This environment shaped Piłsudski's worldview early. Independence was not a romantic dream. It was a necessity. Without it, culture withered. Without it, dignity eroded. As a young student, Piłsudski quickly became involved in underground political circles. This led to arrest and exile to Siberia, a punishment intended to break rebellious spirits. Instead, it hardened his resolve. Siberia was cold, brutal, isolating. But it also clarified something essential. Empires did not collapse from moral arguments alone. They fell when challenged by organized force. After returning from exile, Piłsudski joined the Polish Socialist Party. This often causes confusion. Piłsudski was not a socialist in the same way Marxist revolutionaries were. Class struggle was not his primary goal. National liberation came first. Socialism offered something valuable: organization, discipline, networks, international visibility. Most importantly, it attracted workers, the largest oppressed group under imperial rule. Through newspapers like Robotnik, Piłsudski spread ideas that linked social justice to national independence. Without freedom, workers would always remain powerless. Without independence, reforms would always be cosmetic. Unlike many intellectuals of the era, Piłsudski rejected endless debates. He believed preparation mattered more than theory. Secret training units were formed, weapons were smuggled, funds were raised, sometimes through armed actions that blurred the line between revolution and crime. To Piłsudski, legality under occupation meant nothing. Morality was measured by results. When World War I erupted in 1914, most Europeans saw catastrophe. Piłsudski saw a crack in history. 3 empires ruled Polish lands. All 3 were now fighting for survival. This was the moment Piłsudski had spent years preparing for. He organized the Polish legions, believing Russia was the most dangerous occupier and must be weakened first. Temporarily cooperating with Austria-Hungary was a tactical choice, not loyalty. This decision remains controversial. Some viewed it as collaboration, others saw it as ruthless realism. Piłsudski never forgot the final goal. When Germany and Austria refused to guarantee Polish independence, he openly defied them, refusing to swear loyalty. That act led to imprisonment in 1917. Ironically, this made him more powerful. In chains, Piłsudski became a symbol. When empires collapse, symbols matter. In November 1918, Piłsudski walked into Warsaw as a free man. Within days, he was entrusted with authority over a reborn state. The reality was chaotic. Poland was free in theory but broken in practice. Different regions had different laws, currencies, rail systems, even time standards. Borders were undefined. Enemies surrounded the country. Piłsudski's role was not ceremonial, it was existential. He focused on building an army first. Without defense, independence would be temporary. Ideological debates could wait, survival could not. The greatest threat came from the east. The Soviet leadership believed revolution should roll through Poland into Germany and beyond. Poland was not a nation in their eyes, merely a corridor. In 1920, the Red Army advanced toward Warsaw. What followed was one of the most dramatic moments in European history. Against expectations, Piłsudski launched a daring counter-offensive at the Battle of Warsaw. The plan was risky. Failure would mean annihilation. Instead, it succeeded beyond imagination. The Soviet advance collapsed. Poland survived. Europe exhaled. This victory was not luck. It was preparation meeting courage at the edge of disaster. After independence was secured, Piłsudski stepped back from power. Briefly, Polish democracy struggled, governments fell, parties fought, corruption spread. The same freedom fought for with blood now seemed endangered by paralysis. In 1926, Piłsudski returned through a military coup. He claimed it was not for power, but for stability. This marked a turning point. Civil liberties narrowed. Opposition was suppressed. Poland became more centralized, more disciplined, but also less democratic. This contradiction defines Piłsudski's legacy. In his final years, Piłsudski understood something deeply unsettling. Germany was rising again. The Soviet Union was regrouping. Poland stood between them. He pursued non-aggression pacts, not out of trust, but necessity. Buying time was the strategy. Preparing the nation psychologically and militarily became the priority. Piłsudski died in 1935, before witnessing the nightmare that followed. Many believe his absence left Poland without its most experienced guardian. Józef Piłsudski was not perfect. He made harsh decisions. He believed order sometimes mattered more than freedom. Yet without him, modern Poland might never have existed at all. His life proves that nations are not born cleanly. They emerge through struggle, compromise, courage, and contradiction. Independence is never a gift, it is a responsibility. If this story added depth to the understanding of Poland's past, like this video. For more thoughtful explorations of Polish history and identity, subscribe to The Poland. And share this story with anyone who believes freedom is worth defending, not just remembering.